best characters in Naruto. I think his backstory and what he made Naruto turn into was one of the best like moments in Naruto. I don't for the time he was there. I don't know if he is the best character in Naruto though. I don't know. I don't know. Y'all let me know. You can kind of go whatever way you want to with that question. So to some people, Pain might be the best character. It really all depends. Y'all let me know who y'all think the best character in Naruto is. So, I mean, yeah. It says, sob stories cliche to too much annoying. My parents died, I'm lonely, blah blah blah. It's boring and repetitive. Yeah, as long as they're not drawn out, I don't have an issue with them. When they're drawn out and they're just going for way too long, and it makes a character's aspect and it revolves around them, then I find an issue with it. But it kind of most stories have to get to a certain point to let you know where the character is, even if they're not a main character, where they personally are. So I'm not upset with the sob stories because it's a lot of character development. It's like one of the quickest ways to develop a character, besides doing it off screen. So I'm not too mad at that. But yeah, just the repetitiveness can happen just way too. It just all depends on what you watch though. I can probably get what this person is saying. If they watch maybe like 3 or 4 or 5 shows in a row that had that, then I can understand. But one show that isn't drawn out for too long and doesn't do that for way too long, I'm not upset at that at all. But hey, it happens and everything like that. Somebody said, oh, the same guy said, also villain stories. Society did me wrong, so I'm going to take revenge. And this is also too boring. I disagree. I don't say that is too boring to me. I like it. I think depending on what their motives are and what they are trying to achieve can also make for a good story, because there's a lot of people that like are trying to go out and achieve something or just wreak havoc, and they were in the position of what that main character was, or whoever we may be, like just in the perspective of, and now they're in a different role, and what they are fighting for or what they're doing they truly believe in, and it makes reasonable sense. So I'm not completely upset with that. I can disagree with that. I think that's we get some of the best characters in that way. Next I was going to say that Zamasu is the best villain of the 2010s in DBC. Dragon Ball Super, the best anime of 2010s, and that Madara is the most popular, beloved, and iconic villain of the Naruto Boruto franchise. But then I realized that these are not opinions, these are facts. Okay. I'm not gonna read the rest of them. But Zamasu is the best villain of the 2010s. Okay. I may not disagree with this because I'm thinking about like Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball Z was early on. So, the best villain of Zamasu's up there, but Jiren is a pretty good one too. Maybe Jiren just had a better moment. Zamasu is not bad though. I always have this debate and always talk about this. Dragon Ball Super for me is all over the place. I don't remember what happens in certain parts, only remember like arcs, yo, and it's just weird. Like I can't remember the entirety of Dragon Ball Super, and I watched the early part of it, but I just fell off with it. Villain of Naruto / Boruto franchise. Madara is the most popular, beloved, and iconic villain. Maybe most iconic, maybe. Probably most always say this before, I can't really comment on the Boruto franchise because I personally did not watch Boruto, so I'm just always want to be honest with y'all, but I did not watch Boruto, so I can't comment on Boruto. Let's see. Now this is one that's on my list, but I have not watched it. We got some Bleach stuff coming up too, so I can comment on that. But Mushu Tensei is utterly atrociously contrived, and any asinine attempt at painting it as some godly redemption story is a kitty diddler's dang, yo. Most ichi or harem anime in the past 5 to 10 years are made with negative brain cells, and they lack even a micro percentage of appeal to any sane individual that doesn't have a 0.1 micron schlong compared to many years ago where the load were actually loading. Isekai as a genre is completely dead weight that is clinging but is deep to 300-400 franchises fandom in the hopes of making any bucks. Best anime is quite contrary. Okay, I see what they're doing. I can't agree. Attack on Titan is a very good anime. But the best in 15 years, I don't know. Like Attack on Titan is very well written, like from front to back, and it's one of those shows I was very impressed with it. Once we got to the end of it, everything from the first beginning parts were like Easter eggs that we didn't even understand. You go back and you watch it, and it makes more sense. So I understand and I like that a lot. It is up there though. I'm not gonna discredit that, but I have not watched Mushu Tensei, so I can't really comment on that too much. But yeah, isekais and stuff like that, I just don't know. Like there was like a rampant up thing of like 3 or 4, maybe 5 years ago with isekais, which is okay, kind of balanced. They were okay, and then we were getting like 5 or 6 new isekais like every day, and the names on these isekais are actually insane, because why are we having so many isekais? And it just doesn't make any absolute sense to me, because some of these don't even make sense. Some of these don't even need to be shows. If I'm being completely honest, I love me a good isekai, don't get me wrong, I do. But sometimes I'm just like, yo, like, we need isekais that are gonna stick and actually be really good. Like some of these are just vanilla ice cream. I love vanilla ice cream, you love vanilla ice cream, but you're not going to go and grab vanilla ice cream every single time you go to the grocery store. You're gonna try something different. So it just isn't always like something that you want to reach for. Personally, for me, it kind of has turned me off from isekai animes as well, because I have my favorites. I love the ones I go to, and if I ever come across one that looks really interesting, I'll click on it. But most of them, like, if I can't repeat back the name and tell you what it is, I'm not trying to be bothered with it. That's just me though. It says Bleach anime arcs are better than most of the canon arcs. Ghost Reaper Girl is the best ongoing shonen series to come out in the last few years. Eren Yeager was always a shit character well before ending supposedly ruined him. The Uchiha clan and Aizen are the reason Naruto and Bleach respectively turned to shit. Wow. I don't know if I agree with that. This is Bleach anime arcs are better than most of the canon arcs. Not bad. Ghost Reaper Girl, I had that on my shonen list. I've not read it yet, but hey, who knows? We might check it out today. Eren Yeager was always a shit character. I disagree. I didn't like Eren Yeager at the very beginning because he just seemed like a dead weight. But once he gets the story in his hand, it changed the game for me. From that second half, I liked Eren a lot, and he's changed up. And at the end of the day, he's just doing what he's supposed to be doing for his people. So you can kind of go back and forth with however you want to feel about that. It's a hit or miss type of thing. Like, I'm not too mad at what he did, but like, he just took it in his own hands. And his last part is just, I definitely disagree with it. I think it's a stupid take. The Uchiha clan Aizen the reason Naruto and Bleach are respectively turned to shit. No. The Uchiha clan and Aizen are one of the reasons why Bleach and Naruto is definitely where it's supposed to be because they play a pivotal part. They are like the anchor and like the legs for the table. Both of those people are the Uchiha clan and Aizen. Like, whether you like them or not, but it's just very important. And there, especially for Aizen, there was a lot of screen time, but Aizen had his moments, and after certain moments, the way Komodo arc, you didn't really get too much of him until Thousand Blow War, and even in there, he was still towards the back half. You got more of him. Same thing with the Uchiha clan; they were scattered throughout the entire series, but like it wasn't anything out of the ordinary. Like you had some here, you had some there. Like they weren't overpopulated. Like I think that was one of the reasons why Masashi Kishimoto literally like killed the clan off. You only had 2 of the clan members, so how was that making it terrible? Like I don't know. Like to get more Uchiha people and like learn more about them, you literally had to go and read about those characters, or like I don't know. I guess this one just says Code Geass isn't good. Like I said once before, Code Geass has his moments. Code Geass has ups and has his downs. Code Geass is flawed, of course. Sometimes it depends on how you look. I feel like the more I watched it, the more I just didn't fall in love with it as much as I did before. Just not to say I love Code Geass though. I wouldn't say that Code Geass isn't good. That's a terrible take to me. I still never watched it. The Dragon Ball Super version of BOG and RF, I guess. Naruto Sasuke and Sakura almost ruined Naruto. It's the side characters and villains that salvage the show. What? I don't even know where they're pulling this from. These are hot takes for sure. These are people's opinions. So Naruto Sasuke and Sakura almost ruined Naruto. I don't think they almost ruined it. I just think that they were just. I said this in my last video as well. I think the imbalance was just too much. I think that they were just way too strong compared to everybody else. They capped out early on. Everybody else was kind of growing, but it got to a point to where they just capped out, and their potential was just higher than everybody else. So it made everybody else, what made them unrelatable to everybody else. And of course, the story is going to be revolved around those 3. It's literally Team 7, and their captain, like their sensei, is literally Kakashi. Like the child prodigy. Like, what are we talking about here? So it's just hard. The side characters did help the story a lot, though. One thing about Naruto, all the kids growing up, everybody had a moment. So that has always been a good thing, because if you fell in love with a very good character, that tuning exams, you got to follow them all the way up and got to see different aspects of them. So that's always been a good thing. Elfin lied. Have not watched it. I need to. He said it's trash. I'm gonna take my own opinion for that. I'm not gonna listen to edgelords and overly emo stories are trash. Okay, Baki theoretically would be the best live action anime. I agree. Now that is one that could definitely transition a lot better than other ones. I just think when you have like these power systems that are just too crazy, it doesn't really work. But Baki, definitely you could not necessarily get somebody to portray the characters, but you could make that more reasonable and more enjoyable in a live action. Because all you just have to do is find people that are super, super talented and that kind of fit the mold. So, Trigun Stampede is one of the best animes out right now. That is a good one. I need to watch Trigun Stampede. I went back, watched Trigun. Didn't finish all of it, but I was getting through it to gear up for Stampede, and then that was around the time. It was a couple years ago where I was talking about I think I said it on a video on the channel before. I fell out of love with anime. For a quick story, I'll tell y'all actually at the end. I'll tell you at the end how many more we got. We got a couple more. So protagonists in general usually suck. Most are made to blend on purpose so people can self-insert as a character. That is true. Yes, I do agree with that. That's more of a shonen thing, though. Most of the time, if it's not shonen, then you don't really get that problem. But yes, most characters are bland. They come with something, or they find something later on. But that's done in say it again. Dragon Ball GT is my favorite Dragon Ball series. That is because when I was a kid, that was the first series that I actually watched from start to finish, and I followed it. I had all the games, had this, that, and the third. It's not the best one, but I love Dragon Ball GT, and I have a different type of respect for people that actually like Dragon Ball GT because it's supposed to be a fun series. People take GT too serious, and they get too upset when it comes to stuff like that. GT is just supposed to be fun. It's just a fun series, and especially like who just doesn't love Super Saiyan 4? You get some cool forms and everything in there. So how can you be upset with Dragon Ball GT? But I love Dragon Ball GT. I will vouch for it to this day. I will vouch for it for this day. I always said that. I will vouch for Dragon Ball GT. It is my favorite. That's just how I feel personally. It says Berserk falls off hard after Golden Age. Nah, there's just a lot of action in Golden Age. I don't think that it falls off hard. It's just the Berserk story is just good through and through. I feel like that might be the part that a lot of people just hype up. That's the issue with it. When people talk about Berserk, they don't talk about the entirety of the Berserk story. They just talk about the Golden Age. So, and what's the lead up after that? After that, the story starts to tone down, and you have small pockets of action and everything like that. And then you're on a life journey with Guts. But once again, I'll say this again: stop recommending people their first series as being Berserk, especially the anime. A lot of people are not going to read Berserk. We need to start giving other people better animes for their first, and mangas better as for their first one. Berserk is not a series that you should recommend to people because it is not a series that is easy or hard people. Imagine recommending Berserk to somebody that has not actually read or watched any anime or any manga. Like, the first page, if you don't know what you're getting yourself into, can be a lot for some people. I know that sounds crazy for us because we like that type of content and we're used to that type of stuff. But think about this. You can't just be recommending Berserk. It is an amazing series. It's dope. It's something that everybody should read if you are interested in anime and manga. Yes, watch it, read it, whatever you want to do. But we gotta stop recommending that to people. Once they get a little bit more seasoned, yes, we can do that. It is an amazing, amazing series. But I feel like we need to say this more often because if you are not collecting manga, Berserk should not be a focus for you. Simple as that. And this is something after you read it. If you have not, if you're not collecting manga, please stop prioritizing Berserk because Berserk is not an easy series to digest. It is not an easy series to digest. It is not supposed to be some fairy tale series. It's not. It's as simple as that. I just feel like we need to address that and say this. Not enough people say this. The first thing they tell people is like, some people are trolling. They're like, check out Berserk. No, don't not check out Berserk. That's like somebody telling you for the first time. And I know this is romantic, but it's like for the first time somebody telling you, first manga you should read, go read Junji Ito. If you don't know anything about manga and you jump straight into Junji Ito, you're gonna be creeped out. It's that simple. You can't be doing that. It says Code Geass is nothing like Death Note in quality, and people should stop comparing them. They are as similar as DBZ is to Hunter x Hunter. Yes, I agree. They're nothing alike. That is a bad comparison. Shouldn't be compared. Death Note Part 2 is one of the best conclusions to a story in manga industry. It's not that bad, but the bar is just that low. Okay, that's fair. And Yasha is amazingly well written and is far, far, far better than steamy heat bubble garbage that is Demon Slayer. I wouldn't call Demon Slayer garbage though. Demon Slayer is not garbage. This seems like this is an opinion drawn up because Demon Slayer just has some. This came out in 2023. This person's opinion was November 27, 2023. It just seems like this is kind of where Demon Slayer was at its pinnacle of its hype. It seems like somebody is just a little bit upset and maybe taken away by how they feel with Demon Slayer and Inuyasha. It's an older anime, so yes, for the times it is it's well written and it is up there. I just don't say that it's maybe better than Demon Slayer. Inuyasha is an amazing story though. Do not get me wrong, but I just feel like it should be a balance. If I'm being completely honest with you, it's kind of hard comparing an older anime like this to a newer one because Demon Slayer is really focused. The story has its moments, but it's really focused on its animation. The animation is what brings Demon Slayer alive. Outside of the manga, the animation. So Inuyasha is more of a bright color. If I could describe Inuyasha, is Easter colors to me, and it's more of a not Easter colors. Not Easter colors. I was thinking Yu Yu's more of Easter colors to me, but Inuyasha is more of a kind of like Elmo, like Sesame Street type of color vibe to me. I don't know, that doesn't make sense, but just the colors of the characters. Yeah, this is just, I can't really take this take too seriously. It just doesn't really add up for me personally. Hunter x Hunter is an average manga. Now, I wouldn't say that. I would say Hunter x Hunter to me, I feel like it went a little bit more in depth in the manga. I still prefer the older, not the 2011, but the 1999 version of Hunter x Hunter. The aesthetic of that show is so fire. Like, I love that. I like that one a lot better. But let's read the rest. It is good enough, but nothing groundbreaking. Certainly not a masterpiece. It has many plot holes and many other issues. I can agree. But what doesn't? That's all. That's always my rebuttal. You let me know if there's a series down below, anime or manga, whatever you want to read it, whatever you want to say. That is great from start to finish. No holes, no plots, no nothing. You recommend me some. I think that everything has a hole in it because it's just the transitions. How do you transition from something being so great? There are certain parts of an anime or manga that is really great, but from start to finish, it is hard. I know a lot of people are rising Attack on Titan, but the transition, like, when I hear people say something is like great from start to finish, that means there's no mishaps. Everything makes sense. There's not nothing that you would ever change about a story. Everything falls in line, and that's probably the most realistic that it could have went. And then somebody had a response to that person that said you definitely need to read more shonen manga to get a better scope of what's average means in this industry. The only universe that this takes somewhat reasonable and is if the only shonen you read is Full Metal Alchemist, AOT, and Death Note. Even then, it's a hot take. See, yeah, I agree. See, Hunter x Hunter is fair share of value criticism like any other series, but I can't think of many plot holes, especially compared to the most running series. Yeah, Death Note is beyond mid if you have your brain enabled when you watch it. He has to be saying this from a person that has watched. See, this is what I'm saying. He's watched Death Note, rewatched it. A first viewer of Death Note, then you're not gonna feel this way if this is your first time watching Death Note, yo. You're not gonna feel that way. I don't agree with that at all. You think you kind of know, but you're kind of at the mercy of Light and Kira. You're at the mercy, yo. So, JoJo Part 5 is my favorite part, and JoJo Part 1 is so boring and brilliant. refresher. I'm not overly fond of the cute little sister characters whose primary role is just to be cute. I agree. Um, Only to an extent that if they're in the background, I don't have an issue with them. Um, it just kind of is a aesthetic thing, I guess, for some shows. Like they just do that to balance it out, especially if there's a lot of like, actually just to bring humility to the show. Whether there's people, you know what, like dying, or there's a lot of darkness, they bring a cute little girl in there to brighten it up. That's just how it is. Now, one thing I say is I don't like how if some shows will sexualize that. I don't like that shit at all. To me personally, as well as I don't like when they put them in danger. Like if she's gonna be a character, let her be a character. Stop using her as an objective or anything like that. I just don't like it because you're taking away from it, and it just makes it hard for people to even get around it. Because now instead of somebody focusing on something, they're focusing on this girl. Like, come on now, read this last one. It says Pain was right, Neji was right, Madara wasn't. Light is smart, but also a naive idiot. DB is a good manga, and most criticism are over extravagant. Bleach actually has somewhat consistent power scaling. Demon Slayer is a good manga because a simple story well told is better than a subverting expectation. Aizen is a bad character, but a fun and memorable feeling. One Piece is carried by their sentimental moments and comedy, not blind. One Piece post skip is average shonen. Hunter x Hunter is better than most shonen. Full Metal Alchemist is better than Hunter x Hunter, and Full Metal Alchemist 2003 was a good show. Real Robot Mecha shows are boring. Evangelion is a great show. That's a lot. Okay, let's tackle this. He said Pain was right, and she was right, and the Madara wasn't. Okay, like he's smart, but also a naive idiot. Yes, and that's only because of he just felt untouchable. That's all that was. Dragon Ball is a good manga, and most criticisms are over. I agree. Bleach actually has some consistent power scaling. It does. Bleach has a very good power scaling. Demon Slayer is a good manga because it's a simple story well told. Yes, and that's the reason why I said about that point up top I couldn't agree with. The story is consistent and the story isn't bad. There's nothing extremely crazy that's coming out of the story. You know what you're gonna get. You know where they're going. You know what's gonna happen. You know what the fight is gonna entail. And now you just sit back as you know all the things that is gonna go on. You sit back and you just let things happen and figure out what's gonna happen. Okay, now we just watch the fight happen. That's why I said Demon Slayer is not bad. And you can sit down and read Demon Slayer and get through it in maybe a day and a half, 2 days at most. If you sit down and you just read it religiously, you can get through it. Aizen is a bad character, but fun and memorable villain. Is he a bad character? I don't like. How does that make you a bad character if he's a memorable villain? I'm not getting that, but hey, it's just me. One Piece is carried by their sentimental moments and the thing I can say though, the clips that do go viral with One Piece, a lot of people, they are sentimental things or just really big moments, and after that you won't hear about One Piece in the news or anything. It doesn't get pushed. So that's always been my thing with it. It's like for it to be this like overly high praised show, we need to see it pushed more because there's always edits of every other anime except for One Piece, and that could just because my algorithm isn't filled with One Piece, so it could just be that too. Hunter x Hunter is better than most shonen. Hunter x Hunter is up there. I wouldn't say that it's better than most shonen. Most shonen is gapped out. You can't really compare a shonen to a shonen. They're all shonens, so they all are made with the same premise. So you can't really do that. Fullmetal Alchemist is better. Okay, so Fullmetal Alchemist 2003 was a good show. It was. It was. Real Robot Mecha shows are boring. It depends on what you watch. I felt like that for a while. I'm still trying to figure out which ones I like, but I think for the time they did justice. It's just because people loved those shows, and think back then like mecha shows were really big back then. But it goes to says Evangelion is a great show, which is. But I would love to see what they compare Evangelion and other mecha shows to. That's what I'm interested in. But get to the Reddit ones. Those are gonna be absolutely insane because Reddit is a rabbit hole, and I know a lot of people are gonna be saying some crazy things on there. But it's being a man. ASMR, and I will see y'all in